When I first saw the trailer for Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, I went.
Shut up and take my money!
However, when I realized that the game is from EA, I started to have some doubts. That's because so far, Star Wars games and EA don't really mix well because of some questionable game mechanics and them basically turning their games into mini casinos for 10-year-olds with their loot boxes. But thank God I was wrong about this one, because I have been craving for a good Star Wars game since the Force Unleashed one, and that was ages ago. This game revived the Star Wars fanboy in me that was buried by the new trilogy of movies. That is how good this game is. Everything about it just screams, hey, I'm a Star Wars media. Do you like lightsabers? Here you go. Do you like Force powers? I got you. Do you like Wookiees? Well, here's an uglier version of them, but hey, they still sound the same. Do you like wonderfully written stories and beautifully crafted worlds? Here you go. Enjoy. Although this game is far from perfect, it does a lot of things exceptionally well that you'll definitely have a good time with this one, even if you are not a Star Wars fan. However, if you are one, this one is a treat that will tickle every fanboy bone that you have in you. Something about Star Wars just brings me back to simpler times where all I have to worry about is what cartoon I'll be watching next. And this game has that magic too. The sound design is top notch here. The orchestra music playing in the background while exploring or during very important scenes are just amazing. It feels like a great space opera is unfolding before you, what with the combination of the amazing visuals and the top notch music. The lightsaber sounds as it clashes with the weapons of the Purge troopers or the other lightsaber wielding enemies is just so satisfying to hear. The map design is also something else. If you were to be told before release that you'll be going back and forth between maps during your progression, you might be put off by it. But luckily, they have implemented this wonderfully that going back to previous maps that you've been on doesn't really feel tedious because A, the environment is nice to look at, and B, initially certain areas of the map are locked off because you'll be needing some undiscovered Jedi powers before accessing them. So, even though you're going back to these maps, you'll be exploring previously restricted areas in addition to the previously explored ones. The combat here feels like a Dark Souls game, where you time your dodges and blocks because there's no auto counter button like in the Arkham or Middle Earth games. I think it has been implemented well that whenever you are faced with a challenging enemy and you emerge victorious, it kind of feels satisfying. Also, you only have the lightsaber as your weapon throughout the game, and some might be put off by that because we're all used to having infinite choices when it comes to weapons in games like this. But the lightsaber combined with the force powers is more than enough for the entire game. Also, there are some minor cosmetic changes that you could do to the lightsaber, and later on, you'll be able to use a double-bladed lightsaber a la Darth Maul, and for me, that's all I ever needed. The platforming and puzzle sections are wonderfully done too. They're not too hard, but they're also not brain dead. It's just the right amount where you are required to just pause for a second and think about how you could get through this puzzle instead of just moving on instinct because every puzzle is basically the same. The story in this game feels like it could have been a better movie than the new trilogy. I like the relationship between Cal and BD1, even though BD1 only just responds with beep sounds. The dialogue in this game is something else though. Sometimes, I just feel bad for killing stormtroopers because of their conversations among themselves prior to our encounters, or when I have already killed all but one of them and it just goes on like,
I could take him myself. I missed the target.
it adds another layer to what otherwise would be just cannon fodder for Cal's journey in this game. However, there are also some bummers in this game. The frame rate drops is one of them. I have an RTX 2060 Super paired with a Ryzen 5 3500, but man, even locking the frame rate to 60 FPS is not possible because there would still be dips here and there. And considering that the game has been out for a year now, I think this will no longer be fixed. Next, the Wookiees. As I've mentioned earlier, the Wookiees look ugly as hell. The Wookiees in Star Wars The Force Unleashed looks better than the ones here. The Wookiees here look like they are malnourished. Maybe it's because of the current war ongoing, but Chewie has been through a lot, yet he still looks thick AF. So I won't really take that excuse here. By the time this game was finished, it really left me wanting more from this IP, primarily because of the final few scenes of the game. Not gonna spoil a year-old game here. Overall, this game is hopefully the beginning of a series of games because we have already dealt with so many bad Star Wars games that I think it's now time for us fans to continually have games such as Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. And that's all for my quick take on Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. Hope you enjoyed the video and consider subscribing.